If you love what you're listening to here, you are going to love our 21-day magical self-care challenge. This is more than just a challenge. It is a community, and it includes our magical self-care course and 2 PDF books, the Magical Self-Care book and the Born Magic book. Both bestsellers on their release date on Amazon, and we can't wait to get them into your hands. Join us for the 21-day magical self-care challenge. And by the end of the class, you are going to have some new magical tools in your tool belt, and you are also going to feel supported, and you're going to have the steps to easily and efficiently bring self-care into your life as the foundation of your life, so you don't have to seek it out every day, because your whole life will be built on magical self-care. Check out the link to join us in the 21-day challenge, and we can't wait to see you in there. I love using herbs in the wintertime. There's something about dried herbs in particular that I just like, with tea and soups and warming my soul in the winter, where in the summer I love to really use fresh fruits and whatnot to bring that cooling on the hot days. But in the winter, just something about herbs. So today I'm going to share some winter herbs with you, and also tell you about some recipes that we have in our Stay Magic magazine that you can get totally complimentary. Okay, listen in. If the word witch makes you feel full of power and excitement, if you love personal development but loathe boring love and light conversation, if a sexy combo of witchery and inner work piques your interest, you're in the right place. Welcome home, Magic Maker, and welcome to Expedition to Soul, the podcast brought to you by the Sisters Enchanted. Hello, let's talk about herbs and the winter. Winter air is crisp, it's biting sometimes, and it's cool around us. And that is why I love working with herbs in the winter, particularly. I mean, any herbalist in the house is like, Sarah, you work with herbs all year long. And I don't disagree. I totally agree. And I love a hot cup of tea in the winter. I love hot soups in the winter and herbs in that way. I just love in winter, right? Because it's hot, or that's warming for my cold body in the cold time of year. But I think it's also a perfect time to really think about the magic of herbs and how they can enhance how you want to feel, your intentions, because the winter months are dark, they are cold, and they are introspective. And herbs really unlock this wisdom of the earth that can help support us on our own journeys. So, herbs are not just for cooking, they do carry metaphysical properties that can support us on our spiritual journey. And we actually have an episode in our Witchery Foundation series coming up on this. And I think we might have some in the past archives. So definitely scroll through. We've been doing the podcast since about 2017, and you're going to find lots of episodes on lots of things, or even over on our YouTube channel. But these metaphysical properties really can help support our spiritual journeys. Like I said, especially in the heart of winter, when it is this introspective time and we are spending more time just inside and thinking and being and trying to understand the essence we want to embody in the year ahead. So I've got 3 common household herbs I'm going to tell you about today that are perfect for the winter time, and about their magical properties and how you can incorporate them into your daily life. And we do have some recipes in our Stay Magic magazine, written by Anna. She is the head of student experience here at the Sisters Enchanted, and she gave us a few recipes and teas too in Stay Magic. So we'll be sure to make sure that you can find all this. It's on all our social media, all the places. Just let us know if you can't find it, and we'll point you in the right direction. All right. Our first herb that I love actually all year round. So I lied to you at the beginning about how winter and herbs, I do love it. But this herb I love all year round. In winter in particular, though, cinnamon. And I love it because it's hot, it's warm, it's fiery. It is my go-to, and it's a staple in my kitchen. So I probably use cinnamon, I mean, at least 5 of the 7 days a week. And I have it cinnamon with cloves in a drink that I drink most nights of the week too, before I go to bed at night. And we have both the grated cinnamon, or the, like the shaker, and then also cinnamon sticks. all fun to have on hand. So as a Sagittarius, though, I have 5 planets in Sagittarius. I definitely resonate with its fiery nature, embracing that Ayurvedic concept of like for like. So I'm very hot and fiery, and it is a hot and fiery herb. It's a powerhouse for igniting inner fire, supporting root energy, healing, and consciously creating an abundant life. I love using the cinnamon sticks as little pieces like you would crystals on a crystal grid, even this time of year. Also beautiful for summertime, but in the winter, with Embach coming up right around the corner, the February 1st, that's when we really celebrate the return, like this, celebrated the return of the sun with Yule, but with Embach, we start to notice that the days are getting longer. And it's a beautiful herb to work with in that during that time also. A lot of people in our community put a sprinkle of cinnamon in their coffee every day for abundance, to stir that in with some intention for abundance for the day ahead. And I usually have it at night in a chocolate drink that I drink. It's like a warm, spicy hug, and I just love it. And again, I mix it with cloves also. So I get those cloves and the cinnamon all together. And it's a great reminder of your strength and your potential too. Cinnamon is strong. And when we taste it, it can remind us of that. It For metaphysical properties, cinnamon really ignites passion and creativity. So when you need a spark of inspiration, it's a great go-to herb. It also, as I mentioned before, aids in root chakra healing. So your root energy center, it's your lowest energy center, the one that sort of connects with earth energy, and it holds your stories as related to childhood wounding, childhood experiences, material goods, the world around you, how you like organize your day-to-day life, your stuff, your wealth. All of that is root chakra energy, and cinnamon can help ground and connect you to your sense of security and stability, which can help you to heal that energy. And as I mentioned before, it's also an attractor for abundance. So it encourages prosperity and success in everything that you do. Cinnamon, I mentioned cloves, which was not one of the ones I was going to talk about today, but because I use them together, cinnamon, cloves, and oranges. We mentioned this back at Yule in another class that we did. But there's a reason you'll see those together for Yule crafts or wintertime crafting or projects, or little boil pots on your soap, simmer pots that smell delightful. And those are all attractors of abundance as well. All right, so cinnamon. Use cinnamon. You can put it in your drinks, is most common, and food, obviously. And it's great for all these different reasons that I have just mentioned to you. So, two other ones are rosemary and thyme. And these are so good in like savory breads and soups. I love rosemary and thyme, and like garden sage all in a chicken soup is so delightful. Or if you don't eat meat, like a potato soup with those would be so good. That sounds really good right now. I don't really like to cook, but I'm inspired by hearing all these herbs together. So rosemary is another winter herb known for its protective qualities and memory enhancement. And it's also associated with love and remembrance, which makes it perfect for winter because we're doing that reflection, that inner connection, connecting with people around us. So rosemary as a winter herb, as I said, good for protection, mental clarity, and even love. And rosemary, aside from cooking with it, you can put it into sew up like a little sachet, so like a little pouch. And you could put rosemary in the pouch during travels, or put it under your pillow at night if you want to enhance your memory to try to remember your dreams and do some lucid dreaming, or explore like what your inner self is thinking in your dreams. So rosemary is great for that. And then thyme is the other one. And this is an herb of courage, purification, clearing negative energies, promoting bravery in the dark months. Thyme is great for all of that. So, like I said, courage, purification, healing. And thyme is, I actually used it in some potions that we did during a class recently. And it is, tastes like, um, it tastes like thyme. And not like it's not the most delicious standalone herb, I guess, unless mixed with other things, in my opinion. But you can mix it, use it as an essence, And to create the essence, you can put a little bit in some water, so like heavily diluted, and then you can mix that water with some a little bit of alcohol or apple cider vinegar to create an herb essence from it. Or you can put a little bit like in a spray bottle with some witch hazel and then use that to purify the air in your living space. And also for a courageous spirit. So it's the kind of thing if you have kids, that's beautiful to put in like a courage potion for them if they're going to school and needing a little courage or whatever it is that they are doing that they might want some courage with. So thyme, rosemary, cinnamon, all beautiful for cooking with in the winter months and also just to have on hand. We talked about using herbs for those for consumption. So cooking, actually to putting them in your body or mixing with drinks, also sewing into a little sachet or like a magic poppet. Those are great ways to use herbs if you don't want to consume them. And then, as I said, the essence. So a few ways for you to use herbs this time of year if you don't want to consume them as well, or if you have allergies and whatnot. Now, in our Stay Magic magazine, we also have recipes for a warming hibiscus tea. You're going to want to check that out. But really, it's hibiscus tea and some cloves. My kids love hibiscus tea. So if it's not something that you drink in your house, they drink it totally unsweetened. And my kids like love sugar. So, we're not one of those families where like we don't ever eat sugar. And so I say it's delicious, but my kids who never eat sugar think it's delicious and kids who do would not. It's not the case. My kids love sugar and they love hibiscus tea completely unsweetened. So that's the thing I'll make for them if they want something sugary. And I'm like, how about some hibiscus tea? And they're totally for it. So hibiscus tea and cloves, and you just simmer it together for a little while until it's fragrant. And then, steep your tea until you like it and drink it up. You can also switch out the hibiscus for rooibos, if I said that correctly, if you like that instead. Anna's also got a recipe for us for an immune boosting tea, butternut squash recipe. So you're going to want to check this out. The butternut squash recipe, it's so funny that Anna included it in our magazine because our mom used to make this for us when we were kids. And then I made it once for my husband as adults. And he was like, what is this? This is a side dish, not a dinner. So definitely check out Anna's recipe because it brings a lot of memories back for us. It's basically like a butternut squash and then you can roast it. She gave you the option to also add sausage or something if you wanted to, if you are a person who eats meat. But it's something really warm and it is a memory for us. And it's just really funny how my husband reacted to it the way that he did. He did not think it was funny. He was like, what is this that you are feeding me? But herbs for the winter months. So there's 3 for you we talked about today: cinnamon, thyme, and rosemary. A couple different ways to use herbs. We're going to talk more about herbs in the foundation episode, which I think might be coming up after this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's coming up on Thursday, and this is Tuesday's episode. And then go check out the Stay Magic for some recipes. But we also have them on our blog. So we'll link up the blog post. That's the most easy thing. And we'll link the blog post in the show notes. And then you can go read the blog post and all the recipes will be there for you as well. All right. Enjoy your warming herbs this winter season. Got a couple, what do we got here? Like 2 months left of winter. So much winter still ahead. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to today's episode. And until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. But wait, before we head out of today's podcast episode, we're going to break for a Ask Me Anything segment. Let's do an Ask Me Anything on this episode today. Let's see here. The question is, how can you break from curses from the past life? This person was saying that she feels like, let me get up the exact question. She feels like that carrying a load of bad stuff on my shoulders forever. How do you break curses from a past life? All right, this is such a juicy topic. So I got a lot of thoughts on this. First thought. I do think that we carry themes and lessons from past lives. One of the things I love to do is read past lives for people. And I don't think though that we carry, I wouldn't say curses. I would say themes or experiences we aren't quite done experiencing yet is how I would bring that over into this. And then in terms of curses in the present life, I am not, I really believe that we can have all kinds of bad stuff happen to us. And this is a very annoying thing I'm about to say, but it really is about our ability to maintain perspective. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. When we feel like it's just one terrible thing after another, and like that life just must be awful, or there's some curse put upon us, I would argue that the belief in the curse is one of the most surefire ways to have that energy stay with you. Now, I have had many a trial and tribulation in my lifetime, and I know how frustrating it is to probably hear that if you're in the thick of it right now, where it's like this, but how can I change the way I believe about it because it's so bad and it's so hard and it's just not getting better. And one of the things that we teach here is our 5 eye spiral. And no matter how you are feeling in a moment, you can ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And then take an action to feel that way. And if you really feel like that you brought some kind of karma into this lifetime, some kind of bad tie, some kind of negative energy you just can't shake, ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And then how can I start to take action to feel that way? What do I have to do to feel that way? And it might be very, very small, um, but take some small action. And that might be going for a walk so that you're not standing in the energy of the bad thing that has just happened. Of course, you can use your spiritual tools. You can do all the clearing, cleansing sorts of things if you'd like to. But this is really where mind magic comes in and where you get to ask yourself, if I feel like I'm constantly getting these big bills in the mail. So, I get an extra $100 and then I get a $150 repair bill for the car or something like that, right? Oh my gosh, those are like 1995 numbers. It'd probably be like $400 for the car now. But you get what I'm saying. So you get $400 and then you get a $425 bill. And it like seems to be like that constantly. Or you get married and you think everything's great. And as soon as you get married, like this person's the world's biggest jerk. And then you end up divorced, you marry somebody else, they're the world's biggest jerk. And it feels like you're just on this hamster wheel of curses and bad things happening to you. In the moments where you're in the thick of feeling like life is just bad, ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And then do something to help you feel that way. Instantly shift the energy, instantly shift it. If you have the capacity to dive into where does this feel that way in your body, like where is the story, then you have an idea of which energy center could use some love and can even pick an action aligned with an energy center that it would most benefit. So for example, what's an example in my life I can use? So I'm a mom. I've got 2 little kids. They're not so little anymore. They're still little. They're 6 and 9. And if something if they're really just on my last nerve on a day and it feels like they don't listen and everything's the worst, and then maybe I get a work email that's absolutely like, makes me want to throw up just looking at it. And then maybe I get a phone call from like my grandmother and they need help, my grandparents, because I help care for them. And sometimes all of this stuff can happen at once. And it's like, makes me want to throw a brick at a window. And so what do I do? Ask myself, how do I want to feel right now? And if that answer is in control, well, what's an what's an action that I can take to be in control? Maybe it's just writing down the list of things I have to tackle and then picking one to tackle. If I have time, I can ask my body, which is probably feeling very anxiety ridden by that point, where am I feeling that? And that might be way down in my gut. And maybe there's a childhood story of feeling out of control. And so when I feel out of control, how do I want to react, right? Do I want to scream and yell and be seen and get attention? Or do I feel it like in my heart where I feel like it's in my chest and like, it just feels like I can't breathe and I'm being constricted on? Maybe that's the call to take action on reminding myself that I'm human, have unconditional love for myself, and maybe I just put on my favorite music and dance a little bit, or like go for that walk, or have unconditional love for the kids who are just kids being kids, right? So we can also look to our energy centers and see where the story is hidden as to know what action to take. But when you really feel like everything's against me, my whole life is a curse, I would ask you to break it by saying, how do I want to feel? And then immediately taking an action to feel that way, no matter how small it is. And that is the first step, I think, to getting out of that funk. And I do believe with past lives that we carry over things into this life. I don't see them as curses. I see them as experiences we're not done experiencing yet. So if you always took care of everybody in your past life, but never took care of yourself, and you're still doing it in this lifetime, you haven't grown enough to stop doing it. And that's your journey, is to grow to be the person who doesn't take care of everybody else, right? If you were a gambler in your last life, or spent all your money, and in this life you just can't seem to hold on to any money, then I would say, what is your energy around money? What are the stories you're holding on to that have to be shifted so that you can become the kind of person who, whether you have $5 in the bank or $500,000 in the bank, you know how to manage that money in this lifetime, and also have the courage to get more, um, rather than saying there's no way for me to get more. So growing your emotional bandwidth to say that you have what it takes to go after the thing that you want, the emotional strength for that, because it takes emotional strength to shift your stories, and not everybody's ready to do that. And that's okay. Some people might be ready when they're 70, some might be ready when they're 17, and it's just different for every person. All right, there you go. That's curses, past lives, things we can't shake, and what I would do about it. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next podcast episode. If you love the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to get the word out about all we're doing here at the Sisters Enchanted. Thanks for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next episode.